This is a safe place to share what's really going on. We don't have to pretend to be in a place that we are not. And just because we are grateful doesn't mean that we are jumping up and down, and it doesn't mean that's what being grateful looks like. And so when we can honestly engage with the reality of our circumstances and choose to trust God anyway, this is a place where you can do that. Every day is not a good day. We do have days that hurt. We have years that hurt. We have seasons that hurt, that just hurt, but what I'm learning is that the key is for us to be in a position where we can be honest with God, honest with those around us, and that we can trust God in the midst of that we can trust God in the midst of our pain. Contentment is something that is anchored in trust, and trust in a God that is bigger than our pain, that is bigger than our circumstances. And so contentment is also, oh, y'all, we about to be on here for a minute because I feel like I got a lot to say. So three foundational things that the Lord has taught me that I've shared with you all about contentment in this year. Number one, contentment is not pretending that we are not hurting. It's not stuffing pain and pretending that it does not exist. It is not that. Number two, contentment is not masking pain with coping mechanisms and hoping that it goes away. We do a lot of different things to cope with the different pain that we have. We have, whether that, and I shared with y'all just kind of where I've been the last couple of weeks, how I gave into some of my coping mechanisms to kind of deal with some uncomfortable things for me. But so that's not what contentment is. It's not masking it with coping mechanisms, hoping that the issue goes away. But it is honestly engaging with the reality of our circumstances and choosing to trust God anyway. Now, the thing that's going to really help us be in a position to honestly trust God and engage with the reality of our circumstances, the thing that helps us do that is community. Long-term, consistent, sustainable life change does not happen outside of the context of community. And I can say that I know because I tried for years to make changes, to do different things. I tried to be happy. I tried to enjoy my life, and I couldn't. I could not do that. The change did not happen until I began to be honest with those who were close to me about where I really was, until I began to reach out for help and say that I needed it. That's when I could be in a place where I was, where the opportunity was available for me to be able to really take hold of those changes. And so with that, what provides us with that is community. And what I thank God for on day 185 is I thank him for accountability. I had a friend that called me this morning. Well, one, I had a friend last night that asked me, like, so when are you going to do such and such? Just one of the things that I was trying to do, like, just making me say, like, okay, this is when I'm going to have this get done. Like, I procrastinate a lot. So so this stuff wasn't getting done. And so I needed to hear that question. Then I got a call this morning, like, basically, you need to get your life. Like, what are you doing? What is your plan for today? And it wasn't in a way that was putting me down or condemning me. It was just like, okay, you said that you were trying to do this. What are you doing? What is your plan for today? And let me tell you that if I didn't have that accountability, if I didn't have that friend who's a part of my community, or those friends that are a part of my community to do that for me, then today would have been another day where I would have kind of just wallowed and kind of just been like, oh, I got all this stuff to do, but I can't do it. Right. We do need people to push us. And so I shared last night, and I want to clear up something too. I shared last night that I was going to be participating in the She Speaks conference in North Carolina in a few weeks. Those are true friends, Molly. That I was going to be going to the She Speaks conference in a few weeks in North Carolina. And Rhonda asked, was I presenting? And I said, well, I am giving a talk, but I wanted to be very clear that you all know that I am not the main presenter at this conference. That's not what this is at all. Like, there's an opportunity. They have different tracks in the conference, one for writers, one for speakers, and one for leaders. And even though I write and I speak, I chose the speaker track. And as a part of that, one of the parts of the conference is that they allow people to be able to spend time in a small group getting coached about their teaching. So that's where I have the space to be able to present. Like, I watched the replay, like, let me make sure that people don't think I'm like some big time conference presenter, because that's not what this is. This is like the beginning stages for me. So, and it's just just a 5-minute teaching, but it's, and I say just, but it's still a very big deal to me. And I want to do well. So I wanted to clear up what that exactly was. But the point in saying all of that is that I've been overwhelmed by the amount of work that I have to do and discouraged because it's not done yet. You know, so in that, I kind of had to revisit one of my old scopes that where I kind of talked about this issue before and talked about my thought life, because I realized that what's happening is that I am being um, well, let me just say this. We want to be careful not to be ignorant of the enemy's devices and how discontentment can seep in and affect our perspective and affect the way that we are living. So even me, as I'm attempting to persevere through this year of thanks and getting on Periscope when I don't feel like getting on Periscope, and just when my feelings are not matching what it is that I'm saying that I'm trying to do, in the midst of that, just having to find ways to combat the feelings of discontentment that seep in different ways. And for me, so the question that I want to pose to you all, and you don't have to type this in, but just like kind of think about it, and and let me know that if you can relate to this or not. But I want you to think about, what are the ways that you consistently fail? What are the ways that you consistently fail in life? Those areas where over and over again you've tried to get better at something, you've tried to do different things to help yourself, and for whatever reason you've just been unsuccessful with it, but not for your lack of trying. And so for me, one of those areas for me is just that of being efficient with my time and with the things that I'm doing, and just procrastinating and missing deadlines and not getting things done. And so in a position where we are, I'm glad somebody can relate to me. Thank you, Stephanie. So in a position where we are considering the ways that we fail, the enemy can seep in and use that as a way to make us discontent. Because I didn't even realize that's what was that's what was happening in my mind. And so years ago, I shared this before on here, like a couple months back. But my everyday used to be filled with the enemy. I'm praying it off now. Yes. And so, and there are also practical things that we can do with that too, Zion. Hey, Vanessa, thank you for joining in. And so kind of the thoughts that go along with that idea of being, of finding myself with things not done. I keep hearing, what I keep telling myself is like, you always miss deadlines. You always wait until the last minute. You get it together. You always mess up in this area. You are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You drop the ball again. So even with that, like a part of that, the 30-day gratitude challenge, I wanted to be able to send more emails to those that are participating in it, and it just hasn't happened for multiple reasons. But the point is, like, I'm missing, deadlines for myself for a commitment that I made to be able to have this stuff done, and it's not. And so in the midst of that, I've been sharing that I've been having a hard time working this week. Well, I'm glad. See, so that's community. That's community, Sienna. And so with that, I've been paralyzed. That's basically what has taken place. I've been paralyzed. Those thoughts that I've had, the thoughts that I've been focusing on about how I fail in this area over and over and over again, those thoughts have paralyzed me and prevented me from doing anything to affect change. And I want to let y'all know that is despair. When we are despairing over things not changing or being different, then we are without hope. We are without hope when we are despairing over things. Yes, we are condemning ourselves and saying that things will never be different. They will never change, that this situation is not redeemable. That's what's happening in the midst of that. And so with that, we are letting those facts about our situation, because the reality, being honest, right? We begin to feel stuck. Okay, I'm glad that you're back, Sarah. We begin to feel stuck. And when we're in that place where we feel stuck and we can't do anything different, that we wind up staying there. I want to read really quickly for you Philippians chapter 4, and this is verses 6 to 7 in the Message version. Or no, excuse me, verses 6 to 9 in the Message version. Okay. So don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. Before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, will come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that, and God, who makes everything work together, will work you into his most excellent harmonies. And that in the New King James Version, that just talks about God's peace being with you in the midst of what it is that you're doing. But the point of me saying that, okay, is that we know that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if I am meditating, if I'm in my thought life, if I'm meditating on all that is wrong with me, the issues that I have and the failures that I consistently make, those shortcomings, yes, excellent harmonies. If I am meditating on all of those things, then that's the confession that comes out of my mouth. The confession. Right. We did, Nicole. So the confession that comes out of my mouth is that I am one who is a failure. I am one who always messes up. I am one who, I just asked God why he called for troop when it's time to ride if you love him. I'm not sure what that said, but you can listen in. Don't be a distraction though, okay? Because we in the middle of something. So I don't know, and I hope I don't have to block. But you can listen, but don't you be a distraction. So made me lose my train of thought. Okay, all right. So if I'm meditating on all that is wrong, then the confession that comes out of my mouth is what all the ways that I'm wrong, all the ways that I'm not okay, all the ways that I fail. And if that's what I'm doing, then I am building a fortress of discontentment, brick by brick, thought by thought. That's what's happening. And so in that, we will be in a position where our facts turn into us despairing over our condition, over a possibility of a change. But we are not in a position where we can't do anything differently. And that's the key. That's the key. This morning, I was able to get up and do something differently, all because somebody that's a part of my community reached out and said, "What you doing? What's your plan for today? I thought you was going to do this." So in all of that, there's victory. There's victory because our worries can be shaped into prayers, as it said in the Message version of Philippians 4. Our worries can be shaped into praises and into prayers to a God that knows us, that knows our weaknesses, that knows where we fall short, and to a God whose strength is made perfect in our weakness. So I'm not without hope. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, Sarah. Yes, right. I haven't done it yet. You're right. So thank you for the accountability. Thank you. So in that, God knows. God knows what I need. But it's so important for us not to be in a position where we are allowing a dwelling on all of the things that we've done wrong to become our negative confession and to become what we focus on and talk about, because then we're paralyzed and we still haven't done anything yet. And so we have to be in a position where we can begin to move into thinking about what God is doing. What is it that we can change? There are practical things that we can do to help ourselves with procrastination. So the reality is that we can move, that we are not without hope. And, God is with us in the midst of this. So if I want to talk about being able to deal with those, yes, be and do Thanksgiving. So if I want to talk about, if I want to be in a position where I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I tried to pick it back up and it was gone. But that means that you all are special because I lose my train of thought often in in conversation. So my friends know that. So that must mean that I'm really comfortable right now. But I mean, I think that was pretty much it. That was all that I wanted to say. That was all that I wanted to say. One of the ways that the enemy uses discontentment is through telling us everything that's wrong about ourselves. And maybe it's not even the enemy doing that. We're telling ourselves all the things that we've done wrong, all the ways that we failed others in different ways. But there is hope. There is hope. We don't have to stay where we are, not at any point in time. So it is so important for us to seek out community. It is so important to seek out community, and for those to be people that will help to point you towards the Lord, and to point you towards what you can do in Him. I listened to a sermon on the way home today, that was talking about the book of Jonah. And we know the story of Jonah. He was told to go to Nineveh and preach to them, and he refused. He said, I don't want to do that, and went the other way. And in the midst of that, hey Angela, thank you for joining in. And in the aftermath, we know that there were consequences for his disobedience. But even in that, after that, even in that, after that, the Lord tells him to arise, get up, and go again. Like he repeats the command for him to go. So there was an opportunity for him to get back up and do that thing which God had instructed him to do the first time anyway. So yeah. So yeah, there is hope. We are not without hope. It is possible for us to change, and that's what I wanted to share. So I still have a bunch of things in front of me, but today I was productive. Today I worked on the things that I needed to work on, and thank God for that. Thank God for His help in doing that. So there's still much more, but God helping me to do those things. And so yes. So I hope the same for you all, that that you can identify the ways that you consistently rehearse in your mind, that right, Becca, we can do it His way or we can do it His way, right? But I hope that gave you an opportunity to think of just one of the tools of the enemy, and just to keep us in a position where we are focusing on all the things that we are not, but may our focus be what we can be through Christ who strengthens us. That's also in that same chapter of Philippians that I love to refer to in talking about learning how to be content. So I thank y'all for sticking with me in the scope. I think I was a little bit scattered in what I was saying. Y'all noticed that guy went away. I think whoever said that stuff, playing with me. Y'all see that? that really upset me because I was on the road. I didn't see what you typed in, Angela. I didn't see what you. Okay, so whatever it is, Strong Tower said to post on Facebook. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you. Cause that it just right. Okay. Okay, y'all. So all right. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Um, okay. Yeah, he understood. He knew what he was saying. Because he's, just looking at other people's scopes. People get on different scopes, trying to uh, trying to disrupt and distract. I'm like, don't y'all have nothing better to do? Come on now. So, right. It was a distraction. Watch the replay to see which point he came in at. So all right, y'all. It's 10:03. I'll be back 9:30 p.m. tomorrow. Or maybe I might be a little bit earlier.
All right. Good evening, y'all. So I'm hoping that I'm even recording this right. I'm not in my normal spot for recording. I am not I'm not even like visually prepared. Got my scarf on, ready to go to bed after I finish recording this. So my name is Jamia, and so some of you have been following this journey, a part of, as I have tried to get this podcast of mine launched, and it has been a tremendous work in progress. And I was strongly encouraged by a friend to, just to move forward with what I had, and to, not worry about it being perfect, not worry about me having everything, just so, but just to put it out there, and to follow through with this original desire that I had to share what was on my heart with the world. And so that's what this is. Essentially, what's happening is I guess we'll call this the behind the scenes of, like, for real, getting the Thanksgivers podcast out there. Um, what we uh, took a look at today was a Periscope recording that I did in the year 2016. And so, if you weren't aware, that is how I got started with wanting to do. Well, that was like a major part of this particular journey. On day 185 of 2016, that is when I recorded. Um, uh, uh, that's when I recorded what was there. And I'm seeing, let's see here. What day was that on? That was, oh yeah, so that was July 3rd, 2016, that I recorded this. So we're talking almost, is that 5, 6 plus 5? Y'all, I don't know. I can't do math in my head, but this was um July 3rd, 2016 is when I originally recorded this. And um I feel so disconnected from who this woman was that y'all saw in this recording. Like, I needed to hear what Jamia from 2016 was talking about. Um, so, just the encouragement of, following through and being accountable and not rehearsing, your failures, because honestly, that's what part of this feels like to me, the fact that I have not released the rest of this season just yet. So I'm making this post. I'm sharing this previously recorded content to help to get myself back going again in this vein, so that I can finish what I initially set out to finish years ago, and that is with getting this podcast off the ground. I had a conversation with another friend earlier, just sharing some things that I have been dealing with lately. And one of the things that I talked about in this particular, at the beginning of the recording that you saw, was just like sometimes we go through seasons that hurt, and that is where I am right now, like where it has been, one thing after the other. When I talked with that friend earlier today, I said, yeah, and that's pretty much it, that of what's been going on, after naming a number of just unfortunate things that I've had to encounter or be around, or be present for, or experience myself, or it was a loved one that experienced it. And she was like, "Girl, that's enough." And I'm like, "You're right." And I want to be thankful for, like, and reflecting on that and thinking like, "Okay, Lord, this is your grace. This is your grace that is holding me together, that is keeping me from falling apart." in the moment, even though there are a lot of heavy things that I am dealing with right now, and that's outside of the discouragement of not following through on a goal that I had. So, this is an effort to get used to posting again, get used to being back out there, to arise, get up, and go again, as I said in the video, and it's also an attempt to reconnect with who this woman was in 2016. You know, Kiki Palmer's her video that she had, like, sorry to this man, I don't know who this is. That's how I feel. Like, sorry to this woman, I don't know who this is. Like, I feel so disconnected from who I was, from where I was at that particular time. And so my goal is to recapture that. So this is some of that behind the scenes footage that you all are going to be privy to as I try to finish getting this podcast out there. The other thing that I want to reference and bring up, just again in that conversation with my friend earlier, and she was saying, like, man, this just sounds like one thing after the other, and that is certainly the way that it has felt with me and the different things that I've had going on, um you know. And so between uh just a lot of things, loved ones in the hospital, loved ones passing, a car accident totaled my car, um injuries resulting from that. um it 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 has been one thing after the other. And so, in talking with a different friend, I had the encouragement to, reframe what I was feeling like, with feeling all the pressure of the things that are overwhelming me and the different hard circumstances that I'm dealing with. And that is to reframe it so that I'm thinking every day I look for one blessing after another. Like, I don't want to be counting on and looking for the next thing to go wrong. I want to be looking for the next thing to go right. And that's going to be my focus. So something that's going right, the fact that I was able even to do a recording tonight, no matter how I look, no matter not necessarily having anything prepared to say. I wrote down a few things, but trying to let Jamia from 2016 encourage me to get going again and to do what I set out to do. So thank y'all for being a part of this journey with me, and stay tuned.